Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome into the Hughes Initiative's weekly Police Academy prep. I'm your host, RC, the boy from the Hughes Initiative. So glad to have you here today. We are talking about surviving the first 30 days of the Police Academy and how to stay off of the radar. This is important stuff. Because reputations and first impressions really matter. They really do. Your reputation is formed, because we're just going to jump right in. Your reputation is formed well before anybody says anything to you. And you also have to understand this part of it as well. When the people who are hiring you come to your graduation ceremony and they speak to those instructors at the academy, they're going to ask them, what kind of person are you? They're going to ask them about, what you did on the range and how you did in PT, but they're going to ask, what kind of person are you? How's your attitude? Do you think this person could be a team player? Do you think they would be a good fit for our department? Did we make a mistake in hiring them? What have you seen here? How do they respond to pressure? How do they respond to correction? These are the questions that people are going to ask the instructors at the academy. And it's very important that you have a good first impression with your instructors. And that does not mean being perfect. That's not what I want. I want you to understand. It doesn't mean being perfect. What it means is that you respond well to criticism and things of that nature, which we're going to jump into. I don't want to waste your time. If you're just now joining, this is our weekly Police Academy prep. We're talking today how to stay off the radar in the first 30 days of the Police Academy. So glad that you're joining me here. All right, let's jump into it. Welcome to class. I know what time it is. This is a learning environment, an environment conducive to learning. So if you have questions, this is where you ask them when we're talking about what we're talking about today. Negative attention, how people notice patterns before the paperwork ever exists. People watch how you respond to adversity. And the academy is rooted, it is built, it is designed for adversity. And so how you respond is how people are going to frame you as a person. Those early mistakes, why those small things follow you longer than the big ones. You're going to make mistakes at the academy. That is going to happen. But can you pay attention to detail? Because that's what's important. Those little things are what people are going to remember. That's what they're going to talk about. And lastly, reputation stacking. How to build your reputation. That's a day-by-day thing. And it's not as difficult as you may think. Don't overthink this thing. Please don't overthink this thing, because then you find yourself making bigger mistakes, which we'll talk about later on. Just now joining us, glad you're here. This is the Hughes Initiative's weekly Police Academy prep. Today we're talking staying off the radar at the academy in your first 30 days. Today's prayer, one that you need to take seriously, comes from the book of Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for in the realm of the dead, where you are going, where we're all going, there is neither no working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. You get one shot at this thing called life. You get one shot at the police application process with a department for the most part. You get one shot at the academy for the most part. You definitely get one shot, and that's it, in your career in law enforcement. It is important, and it would behoove you to give maximum effort and maximum energy and think about it in the framework that I'm not going to get this shot again. Because it very well may be that you don't. And as the text tells us, listen, when this thing is over, there's no more making it right. There's no more giving half effort. You want to take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. And the way to do that is to be prepared. And that comes through repetition. Whatever it is that you want to do, you want to be good at it, you have to prepare for it. That's where true self-confidence comes from. When you know that you've done the thing. If you're just now joining us, please share the live. Again, quick reset. This is our Police Academy Prep weekly Police Academy Prep. We're talking how to stay off the radar at the Academy for 30 days. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, hear our prayers. Lord, we thank you for blessing us with the very first blessing of the day, that is waking us up. We know that since you gave us this gift, Lord, it is our responsibility to maximize it. That is to go out and spread the good news, be kind to those around us, and be an example of what a Christian should be and look like. Bless the hearts and minds, open the ears of those who are viewing. Lord, and I ask that you, as the instructor, give me the words that would resonate with the crowd. Let the viewers not only hear the message, but also receive it and apply it. Lord, we thank you for everything that you've given us. And we ask that you remind us to be grateful for all that we have. Even if others may have more, we should be satisfied with what we have, Lord. And if you never do another thing for us, we say thank you. Bless us as we go throughout our day, Lord. Bless our families and our friends. These things we ask in your precious and holy name, Lord. Amen. Come on, y'all. Let's get into it. Weekly Police Academy Prep. We're talking 30 days, first 30 days at the Academy, how to stay off the radar. If you're just now joining, share the live, click the like, follow, and subscribe. This is where you will find your information for the Police Academy. If you want a deeper dive, more connection, if you have questions, I know you have questions that you're afraid to ask here, but you want to ask in private, then you go ahead and join the Hughes Initiative Academy. Just had a young man come in last night. He is in the final hiring process for a department in Illinois. And he says, RC, I just want to make sure my mentor is right. Cool. Let's jump on a call. Let's do an interview. Let me give you a plan to set you on a path and set you up for success. First link in the bio. It is $10 a month. I ain't got to sell you on it, but you don't have to go through this thing alone. That is what I am here for. I'm here for you. All right. What getting on the radar really means. And I'm going to slow this down for you so that we have the time and we can talk through these things. It's the observations that people make. It's the observations that people make of you, that first impression. That first impression. When you walk through those doors or when you line up outside in the parking lot, those instructors are looking at you. And they're honestly looking for people who look breakable. People who have shown up ill-prepared. Out of shape, disheveled, looking like a deer in the headlights. That's what they're looking for. And that's what starts the curiosity. Where they say, we can probably get this one out of here. They're not ready to be here. They came looking like this. We can get them out of here. And it happens before any consequences. You get on the radar, right? That bad attitude, that's what starts the conversation amongst the instructors. That's what starts the conversation. Your reputation forms before you build confidence. It really does. It starts way before then. The myth of if I'm not in trouble, then I'm fine. If you play sports, then you're familiar with this saying that when the coach stops talking to you, that's when you should be concerned. It's really, really challenging to be at a place like the Academy and not make any mistakes. Those are going to happen, and that's okay. Those are going to happen. But people talk before they do anything, right? They have to come up with how they want to handle the situation, and trust me, Academy instructors get together, they sit down, they talk about who's strong, who's in the middle, who's weak. Last week, we talked about that survival week. That's where your first impression is made, on the first day and that survival week. They want to see who wants to be there. And I want you to be there because I don't want you to live with the idea that you walked away from this, you thought you couldn't handle it, and then 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years down the road, you're struggling with the fact that you probably could have made it. You could have stayed. I want you to be there. I want you to stay. Um, and in this situation here, which we're talking about on this slide, no conversation doesn't mean no opinion. In fact, what it actually means is that they're still trying to figure you out. But when they have a read on you, that's when you'll start to get highlighted, maybe positively, maybe negatively. When I was at the academy, I stood out right from the beginning. I was one of the taller ones. I was black. I was in shape. I wasn't the greatest runner, but I gave maximum effort. So it was like, hey, he's maybe not the greatest at running, but in other areas, the way he carries himself, right? The way he carries himself is what we like. And I built a quality relationship with all my instructors, a professional relationship with all my instructors, because they understood, like, I wasn't some young 21-year-old, but I had the maturity, and I displayed the maturity amongst the cadets that made me a leader. All right. What they are watching early is pressure and how you respond to it. Pressure reveals habits. And we talked on last week how at the academy, it's really challenging for some people to break through those old habits. Little Jimmy's sister, thank you for showing up. I'm glad you're here. Habit predicts behaviors. Habits predict behaviors. What you usually do is what you're going to typically do. And so academy instructors, they know that. Understand something about your academy instructors. They've been through the classes. They've seen tons of cadets. They look at you and say, oh, this is just like the cadet that was here 2 years ago. Yep, good, not good. It doesn't matter, right? How you respond to pressure is of the utmost important, because predictability equals safety. They have to be able to trust you. Your police counterparts, when you get in the field, have to be able to trust you. They have to know that you're going to respond the right way. And at the academy, this is where that is built, and it's also where it's exposed. I don't want you to overthink this stuff, though. I don't. I'm giving you this information, but I don't want you to overthink it. Because if you spend too much time overthinking it, you're going to make mistakes that you wouldn't typically make, and it's going to represent you in a negative way. How recruits get noticed. This is how. This is how. And this is based in emotion, right? It's those emotional reactions that you may actually be accustomed to giving other people, right? Over-explaining yourself is a big one. Especially when they're yelling at you and you're trying to over-explain because you're not trying to look weak, but you're actually making the situation way worse than it has to be. When you're interacting with academy instructors, keep the responses short. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. One sentence as a response to something. Don't fall into the trap of just rambling, because that's just going to excite them, and then they're just going to smoke you even more, right? They're just going to turn it up even more, right? Over-explaining you will hurt you, and also defensiveness. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you've been through at life. Everybody starts at ground zero. Respect is earned. I know people who say, I don't want to be talked to like a child when I'm at the academy. That's a part of the process as it's currently constructed. Either you deal with it or you don't. Because guess what? When you get on a coach, you might get a coach who talks to you the same way. Can you handle it or not? Will you allow a stranger to dictate the outcome of your dream? That's what it is, right? At the end of the day, will you allow a stranger to dictate the outcome of your dream? Will someone yelling at you send you home? Even though you and I have been working together, you've been showing up to these lives weekly, every Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You've been showing up here, preparing yourself. And then when you get there, you get defensive because someone says something to you, someone corrects you. That's going to happen throughout your entire career. It's one thing to have it happen at the academy. It's another thing to have it happen on coach. It's a completely different thing to have it happen on the stand in a courtroom full of people. There's levels to this. And defensiveness is one of those things that gets pointed out and gets marked and speaks poorly of your reputation before you ever put the uniform on. You take that, you ingest that, right? Because those bad habits, they signal risk. This person is a liability. And liabilities cost police departments money. And I always say, you're an asset until you become a liability. Because once you become a liability, they're going to be looking to get rid of you. And that's just good business. That's got nothing to do with you personally. You will be representing something much greater than yourself. And so you must learn to work within the constraints and the confines of that department. And getting defensive at the academy is a recipe for disaster. I'm telling you, if you're just now joining us, this is our weekly Police Academy prep. We're talking how to stay off the radar in the first 30 days. Please share the live so others can get in here. They may not know that we go live every Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. This is for let me say it this way. If you are an overthinker like myself, and you overanalyze everything, then at times at the academy, you are going to struggle. Let me pause for a minute. I got people coming in here. Ain't nobody told me no success stories yet. I want to know where y'all at in the process. Somebody let me know something so that we can show y'all some love. Somebody let me know something so we can show y'all some love. All right? Smart people struggle first. Overthinking things under pressure. It's like if you play sports, you play football. Your coach would tell you, I'd rather you make a mistake at 100% than to get caught trying to do one thing and another thing at the same time. Right? If you're playing linebacker, you don't know the play, you just blitz. I'd rather you blitz than to just stand there and just freeze. But as an overthinker, we try to come up with time to come up with the right outcome. Just do it, right? Just do it and get the correction afterwards, but just do it, because on the street, you're not going to have time. You're really not going to have time to stop and analyze everything, especially if it's a very dangerous situation. You're going to have to do something. So you might as well just do it. This is where this is where repetition from training and practice on your own time is important. T-Rel, I'm taking the bad test Monday. Come on, T-Rel. Clap. This is what I've been waiting for. This is my favorite part. Come on. Rel, you made the decision. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Hop inside the Hughes Initiative Academy. Let's get some studying in. Let's go over a couple things before you take that test on Monday. I'll be around all weekend. All right? Overthinking under pressure, processing instead of executing. This is a fast-paced job. Quick decisions. You're going to be a high performer in high-stress situations. And I understand. You want to make the right decision. You don't want to do the wrong thing. This is why training on your own, going through these scenarios on your own, and actually doing the thing that you think you're going to do as opposed to just thinking through it is important. Because being smart enough is not just regulation. Intelligence isn't regulation. You took a break, but now you're back at it. You know how I feel about that. You know how I feel about that. I'm glad you reapplied, though. I'm glad you reapplied. Clap it up. Come on. I hate to see y'all put it down and pick it back up, but I'm glad you picked it back up. You know I'm here for you. Hop inside the Hughes Initiative Academy so we can get this thing done the right way. All right? Again, the Hughes Initiative Academy. This is where it is. This is where it is. This is where all the information that you're looking for is. Whatever you struggle with, whether it be the written test, the oral interview, background, polygraph, med psych, the Academy Survival Plan is in there, the EAR model's in there. All that stuff is in there for you. $10 a month, first link in the bio. Also, the book, Dominate Your First Year as a Cop, right now for the weekend. So from today until Monday is $9.99 inside the TikTok shop. You do not want to miss that. This is what's going to set you up. This is your guide, right? Once you graduate from the Hughes Initiative Academy, You read your book so that you walk in on the first day full of confidence. Having a point of reference that comes from someone who actually does it and someone who actually remembers what it was like to be a police officer on day one and how challenging that first year can be without any guidance. So hop inside the Hughes District Academy, go to the TikTok shop as well, get your copy of Dominate Your First Year as a Cop, read that thing, don't just take it, read it, and be well. Mistakes that follow you once you leave the academy, these are bad habits. These are negative ear cycles from our ear model where we talk about ego, arrogance, and rage, but also emotion, action, and the result. These are just negative ear cycles. Tone during correction. When you're getting corrected at the academy, you should be silent. This is not the time to try to argue your case. Your instructor is right. Even if they're wrong, they're right. Because what a negative interaction from you looks like to them is poisoning the group. You're poisoning the group. It's just like raising children. You correct the oldest so that the youngest knows that this doesn't fly. You correct the best cadet so that the worst cadet knows that this is the standard. This is the standard. Your body language, which is the telltale. And you know people who have negative body language whenever they're in a situation where they feel uncomfortable or they're unhappy or they're getting corrected. When you make a mistake, do you pout like a child? Do you throw your hands up? Do you want to take your ball and go home? This is the stuff that they're watching because this is the stuff that everybody's going to see. This is how your reputation gets built. And like I said at the beginning, before some of you all got in here, on graduation, during graduation, that week before you get started, your chiefs, your captains, your lieutenants are going to be calling those academy instructors, emailing them, asking them about you. They're going to be checking up on you throughout the entire academy. How's Jimmy doing? How's Rel doing? How's their response to adversity? And those academy instructors are going to give a true and accurate assessment from their point of view. You know, he made a couple mistakes on the range. He pouted, he put his head down. He sunk his shoulders. He sucked his teeth. She sucked her teeth. She rolled her eyes whenever we correct her. That's the stuff that they're going to remember. Tone during correction, body language, and recovery speed. How fast do you get over getting corrected? How fast do you recover from making a mistake? If you played sports, then you already know it's on to the next play. You got to have a short memory at the academy when it comes to making mistakes. But you got to remember what the mistake was so you don't make it again. Because coachability builds trust. That's what it is. Are you coachable in this place, in this environment? Because if you're not, then you're going to struggle, which is why in the book Dominate Your First Year as a Cop, we have an entire section dedicated to field training period to help you be a more coachable new police officer so that you can maximize your time with your coaches. Understand that first year for a lot of departments, you could get fired for any reason. Don't matter. And a poor attitude makes you a bad fit for that department. And then guess what? We're talking about reputation now. When you get to the academy, you have a bad reputation for a department and you get fired. Guess what? When you apply to the next one, they're going to call the old one and ask them, how were you? They may not get into the specifics, but they're going to ask them, how were you? And I know what the rules are and things of that nature, but police officers talk just like anybody else in the industry. They're not going to want to hire somebody who's going to be a liability. This stuff matters. This stuff really, really matters. How do we stack our reputation in a positive way? Every shift, every day at the academy adds a layer. Positivity builds on positivity. Negativity destroys. Negativity destroys. Negativity destroys. Negativity destroys. Like, your goal is to get through the academy without being highlighted for negative things more than once or twice. Like, that's the goal. And that's having a good attitude, good emotional control, being prepared and embracing the process, right? Learning to enjoy the adversity, showing up every day like you're supposed to. You want to be known as what we call inside of law enforcement squared away. This is a squared away police officer. This is a squared away cadet. That means your uniform looks nice. You do what you're supposed to in the gym as best you can. You do what you're supposed to in the classroom. You're not joking around all the time. You're not being immature. You're being an adult. They're looking to recruit and train adults, not kids. I know it may be a challenge when you're 21, you don't have a whole lot of life experience, but they're looking to be squared away. Because when you graduate and you get to your police station, they're going to be looking for the exact same thing. Is this person coachable? Do they take correction well? Do they not make the same mistake twice? Are they here for the right reasons? These are the things that they're going to be looking for. This one's good. Why doing extra backfires? Just do what they ask you to do. Like doing extra actually makes you look bad in a lot of places at the academy because nobody asked you to do that. Now you're trying to show off. The goal for your academy class is to come together as one, as a unit, to pull up those at the back and for those at the front to stay at the front, but everybody get closer to the front. You make yourself stand out in a negative way when you try to show people up. Nobody asked you to do that. It's usually done with poor timing, right? And it creates unpredictability. They say everybody do this one thing for a specific reason. You try to do that and some more. You're unpredictable, right? This job values steadiness. This is how you get to be a police officer like myself with 11 years and be the glue for my police department where I work. I just come to work, ready to go. I'm in my zone. I handle my calls. I back my guys up. The calls come in. The supervisors don't have any concerns. They know I can handle it. If I have a question, I'll call. Other than that, I'm doing the job. That's what makes a good police officer. Someone who can allow their supervisors to do other things and not have to feel like they're babysitting you on the shift. Your academy instructors don't want to feel like they're babysitting you at the academy. We don't have to worry about if they turn their back. Are you going to be goofing off? Are you not going to do what you're asked to do? Are you constantly going to have to be talked to? Highlighted as a problem. They don't want that. I don't want that for you. This is what keeps you off the radar. I just said it. Same energy, same standards, same attitude. Irregardless of what the adversity is, irregardless of what the challenge is, you get the same effort. You hold yourself to the same standards that everybody else has, that they have for you at the academy. And when you get to your police department, and you have the same attitude. That's emotional control. That's emotional intelligence. Not getting flustered, not getting angry, not sulking, not harping on the past, not complaining. And you'll find that at the academy. I'll give you some insight. You'll find that at police academies. You'll find people who are there. Heaven forbid you be ungrateful for the thing that you paid for, that you prayed for, rather. The thing that you prayed for and paid for a lot of people. Some people pay to go to the academy. Heaven forbid you be ungrateful and complain about being there. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. It's the one you wanted. What is there to complain about? You'll find that at the academy. You'll find that in law enforcement as well, too. People complain it. And I'm one of those people who always push back on that. You ought to be grateful that this department took a chance on you. Because everybody could have said no, but somebody said yes. And because they did, that you should be thankful for. The Lord was kind to you. same energy, same standards, same attitude. Trust grows quietly. You don't have to be loud. It grows quietly. Every day you show up, your reputation gets built. So when that chief calls that academy director or speaks to those academy instructors directly, yeah, no, this is a good good cadet here. This is a good cadet. They're ready to go. Right? They picked up things fast. What they didn't know, they asked questions. When we corrected them, they just took it and just moved forward. Because as a police officer, like you're gonna have to be able to move on quickly. Because there's going to be multiple people with different attitudes and different emotional levels, and you have to be the steady, you have to be the rock, you have to be the calm for people. Because if you get a reputation of being weak, and when I say weak, I mean like erratic and unsteady and unsure of yourself because you haven't put the work in, that's what carries throughout the neighborhood. People challenge you more, and once they start challenging you, they move on to disrespecting you. And this is how you get put on the internet getting disrespected because you don't have the reputation of someone who is an adult and is responsible and, interacts with people in a positive way. This job is going to highlight where you struggle. The academy is going to highlight where you struggle. If you didn't take the time to exercise properly, it's going to show that. If you don't have any confidence, it's going to reveal that. It's very, very important that you get the reps in the areas where you typically shrink in the face of confrontation. The areas where you shy away from, it's going to be important that you work on those things before you get there because they're going to get exposed. They really are. The real goal, as we bring this thing home, the real goal is to earn trust, not attention. Swaggy Heezy 21 says, if I make it past the academy, I'll be the only black officer in my city. Advice on carrying myself. That's a question for the Hughes Initiative Academy. That is a question for the Hughes Initiative Academy. $10 a month. Link is in the bio. Swaggy Heezy, we can talk about that in great detail as well. The real goal of the first 30 days is to earn trust, not attention. The opportunity to prove yourself will come. It comes later, but it most certainly will come. Don't worry about that. All right? You want to earn the trust of the people, not their attention. Like being on the radar is not a good thing unless it's for something positive. But at the academy, there won't be a whole lot of positive reinforcement. You earn the trust by showing up every day ready to go. You earn the trust by being the same person every day. You'll have an opportunity to show yourself, like who you are as an individual once you become a police officer. But at the academy, it's about becoming a group together, a unit with your class, however big or however small. It's about you being a leader there as well. Like the academy instructors want to see people step up to the plate and take ownership of their class, right? Privately correcting those cadets who are out of line. Not there to embarrass people. You're there to come together as one. And the sooner you do that, the easier they'll probably go on you as well. Because now not only are you squared away, but the class is squared away. Okay, we ain't got to be so hard on these guys and girls because they get it. So let's push them in other areas. Let's give them more. We don't have to spend so much time being babysitters. We can actually teach them. We can actually train them. That's where you want to get your class to. That's where you want to get to it as an individual. And the final truth to remember, early impressions last. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. That first impression is so hard to overcome if it's a negative one. And it's not that you made a mistake the first day or the first week. It's not that, right? It's those things we talked about earlier in the live. It's that body language. It's that emotional control. It's how you take correction. And when you become a police officer, your desire to be of service to the men and women that you work with and to the community, that's what builds your reputation. You get the reputation as someone who's lazy, won't back people up on calls, as a slug. That's not leaving you. And so that becomes a thing when you want to get into specialized positions. You want to be K9. You want to join undercover work. You want to get on the SWAT team. Your reputation is the first thing that gets talked about. It's the first thing. I don't know if y'all want him or her. She got a bad attitude. She's just trying to get on here to get away from patrol. He's just trying to get in this group to get away from patrol. DeMarcus Knight says, do you have any advice for the oral board interview? Somebody better tell him, DeMarcus, about the Hughes Initiative Academy, where there's an entire section dedicated to the oral interview board. I got tons of advice inside the Hughes Initiative Academy, where I actually put you through a mock oral interview and we work on your responses. That's what that's for, right? The truth that matters, early impressions last, because recovery takes time, and a lot of times that recovery never happens. I know police officers who made a mistake or two or had a poor attitude at the very beginning. They got 20 years on, 25 years on. That's what gets talked about. That's what gets talked about. Those things from at the beginning of their career. Like, forget the transformation that they made. Forget all of that stuff. The mistake that they made and how they handled it. That gets talked about when they look for promotion or something like that, or a specialized position. I'll leave you with this. The goal is not to stand out, right? It's to build trust. And your reputation stacks before it becomes loud. And man, I just want to give it to you. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. How you respond is way more important than anything else. If you want more specialized, one-on-one, in-depth information on becoming the best police officer that you can be, there's two things. Number one, join the Hughes Initiative Academy. First link in my bio, $10 a month. That's it. The second thing is this. Right now, for the weekend, today until Monday, Dominate Your First Year as a Cop is on sale for $10. I do these things for you, and I make these things for you because I want you to find the success that I have found inside of law enforcement. It can be challenging because not everyone is going to be geared towards or be looking to help you become successful. Like your mindset, your point of reference on what you want to be in law enforcement and how to get there, there's help available for it. And it's through the Hughes Initiative Academy. These weekly lives, every Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank you all for joining me. Any questions, shoot me a DM. Join the Hughes Initiative Academy. Get your copy of Dominate Your First Year as a Cop. I will see you next Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great rest of the week.